everybody, welcome to the S&P 500 analysis. We're actually going to be looking at the S&P 500 E-mini futures as we usually do. It is the 27th of August, 2020. It's about 8:40 in the morning. We are about 50 minutes away from the opening bell, and I want to take a look at a few things, some interesting developments over the night last night. And before I get into any of it, of course, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. You are responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research, and I'm just giving my opinion on the market. So let's go ahead and take a look at the chart here. I want to take a look at the most recent impulse that we have been in the middle of here. So here is the chart. All right, so not to recap too much here. Let's see here. We were talking and discussing yesterday about support via this pullback, and then we also had this pullback here, which is also support. We were talking about yesterday an inverted head and shoulders. We were talking about the neckline here, and we had this. We had this about like this, but at any rate, I was saying basically we created a shoulder, a head, a shoulder, and we were going to move up, and that's exactly what happened. Originally what I had said. Let me just go ahead and remove this guy for right now. Let's just go ahead and take a look at this and see how this played out. I was talking about, hey, if you're a breakout trader on head and shoulders, we just had that happen. All right, so if we go from the bottom to the top, I said that we would hit about 34.75. Right, approximately, and we went higher than that. We hit that target, and now we're finding a little bit of resistance here. It's totally to be expected. That head and shoulders play is gone, so if you missed that, I mean that happens, but that's okay. So that play is gone, but I just head and shoulders sometimes work, and this one seemed to work out okay. But a lot of people try and get in early, and try and anticipate a move, and then they're wrong. What we were discussing yesterday, as it was happening, was a breakout, and it was right around right here. I said, okay, well, we have a confirmed breakout. You can go back and watch the video from yesterday if you don't believe me. So we have a confirmed breakout. So this is where you go, and your target's going to be 34.75, and we went all the way as high as 34.80, 34.83, something like that, right? But anyway, that move was good. Now where are we? Okay, so I have, a small impulse here, 5 waves, we have a correction. We've got 5 waves and a correction. Good subdivision here. This 4 comes nowhere near the top of this 1 here. And then from down here, we've got a little impulse, a correction, an impulse. We're working on this correction. I'm not so sure that we're actually done with this. We'll talk about this here in a moment. And then we go up a little bit higher. I'm thinking 34.95, maybe 350. It's still jury's out on that. But what I can say, let me go down to a 5-minute time frame here. What I can say, on this time frame, what I did is I measured wave 1 go down to wave 2. So I'm basically measuring wave 1, projecting it from the bottom of wave 2, and I had a real long video a couple weeks ago discussing this exactly. How we've got an impulse, a pullback, we target the 1618 to 175, and we hit this 175 all the time. All the time. I mean, look at this right here. I'm just going to go ahead and try and tag this as well as I can right here. I mean, look at this right there. We tagged it. We tagged it and we pulled back. I mean, that was your target. That was your target. You could have taken, right? We were talking about the inverted head and shoulders and targeting 34.70, 34.75, whatever that was. But it did go a little bit higher. But that 175, that was the algo target. All right, so sometimes this stuff works. So now we're pulling back, and in my opinion, we're kind of like reloading. We're recharging here. Down in a 5-minute time frame, it gets messy. I don't like to get too overly involved with this. When we're talking about a time frame as low as this. But let me just kind of take a look at this and see if this channel makes sense like this. Yeah, I guess this does work as a channel. Basically we have this touchdown here. We have another touchdown here. We want to touch the top. I still think that it's possible for us to pull back to this wave 4 here, potentially down to 34.65. 34.65 seems okay. That's the 382. And on a wave 4, You know, typically you would expect for this thing to come down to the 382. So coming down to 34.65, and then our algo target to the upside really is going to be 34.95. 34.95, technically that's going to be your upside target. That may not actually be realized until tomorrow. It might happen today. We might actually go lower. You know, it's just we're going to have to take it one wave at a time. But nonetheless, I do think that our targets are going to be higher. I think we're going to have a slow grind up to probably about 4,000 before the end of the year. But at any rate, this is what we've got going on right now. We're inside of a channel, right? I say a channel because, you know, previously I thought this was our channel, right? And now it looks like this is more likely the channel that we are in. It's not as steep as the other one was, so maybe we just continue kind of moving sideways for the rest of the day. I mean, it's possible. Today might just be a boring day in the market. Very, 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 very boring if it does happen to move sideways. But, you know, it is what it is. I still think we're in a wave 4, and then we go up for wave 5. Another way that we can measure a target for wave 5, so what I've done is I've measured wave 3. We look for the 382 and we target the 236 extension, the negative 236 extension here, which is at 34.95. But something else that I like to do is I like to take my trend-based fib extension tool, measure wave 1, but this time I'm going to project it from where I think wave 4 is going to end, or wherever that does happen to occur. We're going to be looking for 100 to 123.6. We would not want this to go to the 1618. So, you know, right here, this yellow zone, this is our target zone that we're really going to be looking for. Really don't care for those. Yeah, I don't really like this either. But anyway, I got to fix my templates a little bit. But anyway, right here inside of this zone, this is kind of where I'm looking for things to stall out. So this is going to be right here at about 34.9150. All the way up to 34.97. We'll call it 34.98. I have a feeling we're not going to quite get to 3,500 this time around. And, you know, if that happens, well, it doesn't mean that this move is done. You know, as far as our longer term upside, right? It just means that this particular wave is complete. So we have a 3, we have a 4, and then this could just be a 1, 2, and then we go up for 3, 4, 5 as part of a larger 5th wave. So we'll have to wait for this to all resolve. That looks absolutely atrocious. Let me remove that. Okay. One way or another, I do think we continue grinding higher, right? Once we get up here to this zone, you know, we've got a lot of technical resistance. I say technical resistance because we've never been in this price zone before. So we're going to have to watch and see what the reaction is up here. I do think that we will get a more significant pullback. That'll be good for buying. It's going to take time to get there, so don't rush into things. Don't rush to short either, right? You know, we talked about that before. That was basically the basis of our video yesterday. We were talking a lot about these pullbacks, these pullback zones. You know, we've got this zone has to break, this has to break, and you know, and so on and so forth as we go down. This has to break. You know, at this point, I would say that the more important pullback zone is going to be, oops, let me get this guy right here. This right here is going to be the more important pullback at this point. Yeah, this one is important, but if this one breaks, then we've got, you know, a sign of weakness. I guess we could pull this up a little bit, but you kind of get the idea. You know, these support zones are going to be important as we move down, if we move down, and we will move down. But if we start to break some of these, then we can talk about shorting. But right now I'm just not interested in it. I'm looking more for buying pullbacks than I am for I'm more for buying pullbacks than I am for shorting tops, just because, you know, again, you know, right here the genius shorting the top got wrecked. Right here, the genius shorting the top got wrecked. So right here, are you going to be a genius and short the top? I mean, I don't want to be that guy because I still think we can move higher. If we start to break some of these support zones, then we'll talk, right? A lot of our moving averages, right? A lot of our moving averages are still sitting out there. They are they're much lower. So it supports a pullback, right? Even if we take a look here, let me go ahead and pull this up if it'll allow me to. And it's not. That's okay. I need to refresh TradingView, but let me go ahead and see if I can do this. Let me save this. I want to get some moving averages on here so that we can see what this looks like. Okay, got this guy here. Pull this guy out. Make sure that you can see all that. All right. So let's go ahead and pull this in here. I want to take a look at some moving averages. All right, so I've got my okay. I've got a lot of moving averages on here. I want to focus mostly on the 21 and the 55. I'm going to remove the 100, the 200, the 30 simple, the 200 simple, and I need to get rid of these guys as well and get rid of the background. I just want to get some, I want to keep it simple, right? You know, a lot of times there's just a lot of garbage on the charts. So right now what we're testing, I mean, you can see that we've been testing this over and over. We tested the 55 on the hourly. We tested the 21 exponential on the hourly. You know, we're finding support here again at the 21 exponential on the hourly, and we just tested the 21 exponential on the hourly, right? So, you know, if we see a break of especially the 55, even on a wick, right, that's showing signs of weakness where we can do a pullback. I would still say these pullbacks are still for buying, right? We had a bullish cross, we had a pullback, and that was the one to buy, and we move up, right? Anytime we get inside of the 21 and the 55, historically speaking, of course there are exceptions. Historically speaking, they have been good for buying, you know, and that's kind of where we are right now, right? We're trying to push up again after a retest of the 21. Eventually, it's going to break, right? So that's going to be your next sign of weakness, right? So well, actually, it's probably going to be your first sign of weakness before breaking some of these other support zones based on pullbacks. And I would be willing to say that this pivot right here is going to be more important because that was the last test of the 21 exponential, right? So still a lot of area here. You know, from where we are right now down to where we're at there, that's still a 1% pullback, and for stocks, 1% is quite a bit, depending on how long it takes to get there. So are we going to come down here to this target, which was sitting at about 34.65? I mean, maybe. I mean, we've been discussing why that's important. Doesn't mean we have to get there. It could be that this pivot was done. This pivot was enough for us, and now we do make our way up, and maybe we make our way higher. But these two moving averages, 21 exponential, 55 exponential, no secrets there. They're historically pretty important. You know, they're still formed in a bullish fashion. They're still pretty far apart from each other. You know, on this entire way up, you know, we get a pullback and then a buy. You know, we get a pullback and then it's bought up. It's happened many times. You know, you can see this happening over and over. You know, we pull back, we start trading below, and then we get a you know, an engulfment on the candle structures. And here we are again. You know, we're continuing to try and push up, and you know, if we can push up and out of this, and let me just go back to like maybe a 15-minute time frame for a moment here. You know, we're currently trying to push up here, so maybe this was the channel, right? And now we did a bullish retest, and now we're going to try and push up. You know, we're just going to have to take it, you know, hour by hour if you're in it, you know, for the short term. I do like scalping SPY. I do like scalping this, but yeah, I mean, it looks okay. Even on a 15-minute, we're right now doing some retesting of the 21 exponential. We did some testing of the 55 exponential and the 15, right? And obviously, we're finding some other support down there. You know, let's just go ahead and pull the 100 exponential. Is that the 100? Nope, it's not the 100. So I'm not sure what moving average that would be down there. Probably on maybe a 30-minute time frame. Yeah, 30-minute time frame has found some support here on the 21 exponential as well, and that's been Actually, the 30-minute looks a little bit better than even the hourly. As far as buying the 21 exponential, that has yielded good results historically speaking. So, as we start to break some of these, and even on lower time frames, they're going to end up crossing first. If we start to see some bearish crosses on lower time frames, yeah, here 15-minute, we haven't seen a bearish cross since we came back here. We refer to this as backwardation when we have, some assets that are crossing below whatever the norm is, and you know, we've seen those as good places to buy. We're in an uptrend, right? I'm continuing to say that we're in an uptrend, and until we start to consistently trade below and do some bearish retests and not see, tremendous buying power, then I'm going to continue to say that we're still in an uptrend and try not to short the top. I would be I'd be buying some pullbacks. All right, well, that's it for right now. If this video did help you in any way, shape, or form, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And of course, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day, good night, and a good